How do you think the DRC conflict can be or should be resolved?
Okay. The UN is not doing his job. The UN is just serving its masters. And its masters are Western powers, especially three: France, UK, and the US.
In your premise, you said that the speech that was given by Nyerere gave rise to the beginning of the M23. They are called M23 Rebels. I don't know if you agree with that terminology. You say the army of the DRC has been weakened by being infiltrated by people from Rwanda. You say when President Tshisekedi came into power, he was told that the army is at 15,000 men strong. He says,
In the eastern side.
yes.
In the eastern side.
And then you continue to say when he tried to tally the numbers, he couldn't get more than 7,000. Give us the number of, if you know, of M23 rebels and their rise and what their role is in this conflict and why it is so hard. I think you've already alluded to that. Why it is so hard for the DRC military or army to get rid of M23 rebels.
I can't pretend to know the number of soldiers of M23. And we're talking about M23 because that's the current edition, the current version of the so-called rebellion. But what I can say, the UN experts said M23 had less, M23 troops were less than Rwandan troops during 2023. In one of the reports, they said at least 4,000 soldiers from the Rwandan Defense Forces were on the DRC rounds. And they could have some M23 soldiers, and I don't know how they make differences. And that's one of the difficulties I have. How do we make differences between M23 and Rwandan defense army forces? I don't know. So I can't tell you for sure the number of troops of M23, but I know they are outnumbered by Rwandan forces. And you use the words infiltrate. Rwanda didn't infiltrate our army. Rwanda occupied our army.
Give us the difference.
And still occupied.
Give us the difference.
Yeah. The difference is this. To infiltrate, it means you have some people who are there who can be looking and signaling and say, just some who are just, but you have, when I tell you, the chief of staff of our army in 1996 was James Kabarebe, who is a person who was also chief of staff of Rwanda. And remember, one of them who went to the ICC, the International
Criminal
Court,
court.
Criminal Court, whose name is Bosco Ntaganda. What did he say when he was before the court? He said, Ndi Munyarwanda, meaning I am Rwandan, I am sergeant of the Rwandan army, and I will respond to you in Kinyarwanda. Not in Swahili, the language he could have been supposed to speak in, because he pretended to be Congolese from the eastern side of the Congo, and eastern side they speak Swahili, not in French, the official language of the Congo, not in English, but in Kinyarwanda. So, and I can continue to mention, to show you that one.
Yeah, let's
is general, but he's Rwanda.
let's just affirm what you're saying. I know Wikipedia, as an academic, you probably wouldn't approve of it, but
No, Wikipedia is not academic.
yeah.
Wikipedia is a popular.
Yeah, let me just give a
Yes.
brief of who Kabarebe is. It gives it agrees with what you are saying. James Kabarebe, born 1959, is a Rwandan retired military officer who serves as Minister of State for Regional Integration in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Kabarebe was a key figure in both the First Congo War and the Second Congo War as a commanding officer. From 2010 until 2018, he was the Rwandan Minister of Defense. He served as a Rwandan Patriotic Army commander and was an Alliance Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Congo strategist. In his role of Minister of Defense, he was accused of being the de facto leader of the March 23 movement, a militia in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. In September 2023, James Kabarebe was appointed Minister of State for Regional Cooperation.
So I think they say the same way. It's not about infiltration, it's an occupation. They really occupy our army. And look, the strategy, one of the strategies they use is to put screen leaders of Congo natives the way they put Pastor Bizimungu. Remember, the first president of Rwanda, post-genocide Rwanda, was Pastor Bizimungu. Where is he today? After they used him, they just took him and sent him in prison where he will die. And that's how they used Laurent Kabila. He brought them to Congo because he was accepted by Congolese. And after they, as we say, you take the orange, after you
Squeeze.
take all the matter, you send all other things away. That's what they did to Laurent Kabila. They killed him. And the second rebellion, the second invasion, they also used others. And the third, the same pattern. Unfortunately, now with the M23, they are using two people. One is Bisimwa Bertrand, who is from the Bashi tribe in South Kivu, and the other one named, who was the leader of the Electoral Commission,
Nanga, yes.
Nanga Yobelu. Yes. So they will kill him also. That I don't like it, but they may kill him also. They killed not only Laurent Kabila, before Laurent Kabila, they killed another one, and they keep killing. Killing is one of their patterns.
How did Joseph escape? Was he also being used by the same people?
Joseph is their son. They couldn't kill him. But Joseph has this. He was sometimes rebelling against Kagame on some issues. So it's not a by random that they took him to put him as president of the DRC. I remember one of the and Joseph is someone who is smart enough to know when to say something and when not to say it.
When you say he is their son, explain what you mean, Prof. You say Joseph is their son. Whose son is he?
He is son of Laurent Kabila. And I want to stop it
No.
there.
You see, now you are playing around with us. You say he is their son. Laurent is no more. Wait, Prof. If we speak together, it's going to mess up with our sound. Now, Laurent is no more. And you say he is their son. I want you to elaborate.
He came with Laurent Kabila. He came with Laurent Kabila. You may ask them why they wanted him to be president. He was very far from Kinshasa when Laurent Kabila was killed. But they sent a plane. They sent a plane where he was put in jail by his father. And they went to take him, and he became president. So I would like that someone else go through that. I don't want to go there now.
Let's talk about
Another time I will.
Yeah, carry on, Prof. Sorry.
Yeah, another time I will. But for now, let me focus on what you know.
Do you want us to touch on the incumbent, Tshisekedi, and his role, how he came into power? Is he also being put there? Did he win a legitimate election? What's the story behind Tshisekedi?
He was really put there on power by Joseph Kabila. Joseph Kabila decided to put Tshisekedi on power. And I can tell you, at the beginning of the story, there is an agreement, a secret agreement between the party of Felix Tshisekedi, when he wasn't yet the leader of the party, when his father was the leader of the party, and President Kabila. And that agreement, I am the writer of that agreement. I know much about that. So, if you want, I can come back another day to talk about it. But now I would like to focus on those points you want me. I'd like to put.
There's two questions I want to ask on my side. I want to ask you about the role of the United Nations. Hold on. Let me ask the question. Hold on. The role of the United Nations. Do you think it is doing a decent job in the peacekeeping mission in the DRC? And then the last thing I want you to touch on is you Professor Kibiswa, as an expert in conflict resolution and genocide prevention, how do you think the DRC conflict can be or should be resolved?
Okay. The UN is not doing his job. The UN is just serving its masters. And its masters are Western powers, especially three: France, UK, and the US. Now, mostly, it is France, because France is the one that funds the army of Rwanda, because France wants to protect one of its company that have some interest in Uganda, in Mozambique, and elsewhere, including in Central African Republic. So the UN is not doing what it was supposed to do. It was somehow effective in keeping the territorial integrity of the Congo in the 60s and during this war, but the UN had to rebuild the army. It didn't do it. I've already mentioned it. The UN had a mandate to fight against those militia. It didn't do it. If you look at where militias are proliferating, it is in the Eastern Congo. And the UN spent all this time there. It didn't do it. So that's what I can say so far. But at least the good job they did is those reports of the experts. The report of the expert give the real face of Rwanda, Uganda, and the so-called rebellions. That's what I can say.
How can this conflict be resolved?
Good question, but not easy. What I make as a point, as a specialist, because it is already studied by many specialists in conflict resolution, the UN is not able to end a conflict at all. You can look at places where the UN was and still is, they don't resolve conflicts. There is a force in Israel and Syria from the I think from the 40s. I don't remember. UNRWA. It's there for many years. The best way is for the government of the Congo to ally with a powerful world nation. A powerful world nation. And with that powerful world nation, to do everything I can make as propositions. And I've written an article on that. The first point is the Congo need to side with one of the world's powerful nations, and that world powerful nations will be the master, and Congo will be working with that, because that world power will be now the one that respond to others. Anyone who try to comes knows, let's say, I don't want to mention any, because if I mention one, you will say, okay, so you want the Congo to go to that. For me, people said to me, okay, you are the US, why not the US? I said, if it's the US, okay, but the US need to accept to take that responsibility. What did Rwanda do? Rwanda sided with UK. And from UK, it got the support of the US. So UK and the US, so Rwanda sided with two powerful nations after the genocide. And that's how they did all things they are doing today. No one touches Rwanda. South Africa cannot touch Rwanda. Anytime, even Rwanda can humiliate President Ramaphosa. And nothing happened. That's what I can say. Every other things will come later with that powerful nation.
Okay, let's close it off, Prof. You made reference to a speech that was made by South African former President Thabo Mbeki in March 2023. Do you want to touch on what Mbeki said? That was in the beginning of the bullet points that we had agreed to talk on, and then close it off. But you need to come back. You need to account to the people of Something Nice with Dinano. They are going to want to take you to task for some of the things you are saying. We will make time. You will come back for a live stream. You will engage the audience, and you will speak more on this issue of the DRC conflict. A very sad issue. And whenever it comes in the news, there's attention from media outlets. But the longer it carries on, the more we forget and we start looking at something else. Let's look at what Mbeki said in March 2023 and then your closing statement.
Yes. What President Thabo Mbeki said in March 2023 is exactly the same that the late Julius Nyerere said. He said, the Banyamulenge in Congo are not immigrants. And that's wrong. Because nothing, and I have already said that if anyone is able to show me beside all evidences I've collected on them, then I think he's not born yet, that person. Why? Because, and he said it to support, to legitimize again the war of, and the cause of the so-called M23 rebellion. The objective was that. And I say that's not true. The first thing I want to make is this. When they call themselves Banyamulenge, they refer to a hill in the Uvira County in eastern Congo. That Mulenge is a hill of people of Batwa tradition. Batwa in French would say pygmy tradition. Can you imagine peoples who are taller of 180 or 2 meters, they want to claim to be descendants of pygmy of 120. So that's one. Two, that Mulenge is in Uvira County, and they live in Minembwe. Why don't they call themselves Banyaminembwe? Minembwe is at about 300 kilometers from Mulenge. But they don't claim to be Banyaminembwe. They claim to be Banyamulenge. Third, there is no Rwandan-speaking people in Mulenge today. So how can they claim that? Fourth, who is really Munyamulenge? How can I know that this one is Munyamulenge, that one is not? If they are really people from Mulenge, they should acknowledge Mulenge as their ancestor, because all tribes there in South Kivu have an ancestor they claim to descend from. Can they claim to descend from Chief Mulenge? Who is there? Chief Mulenge exists. He is there. So that's fifth. There is no evidence that before the Congo became Belgian Congo in 1908, that there was a let's say native of Rwanda were living as a group or a tribe in Congo, because the tribe to which they belong had established in Rwanda and Burundi, not in Congo. So when Belgians came, they just carved territories, counties, according to tribes that were natives, and all others that came or who belonged to Rwanda, because Rwanda belonged to Germans. So the Belgians could not give a county to people from another power, because they were just immigrants in Congo. That's why they don't have any land in Congo. And proof about that are in the books they usually mention as their proof. The first book they use is George Weiss, written in 1959. The second book they use is one of their descendants named Marie-François de Pelchamp. He wrote the book in 1974. That was a thesis. And he is the first to use the term Banyamulenge. So the term Banyamulenge doesn't exist anywhere before that. Anywhere. If they can contradict me, I would like one of them to come and contradict me. Nowhere the term Banyamulenge is used. The term which is used, it is Rwanda or Banyarwanda. Rwanda or Banyarwanda. I don't know if in South Africa, Xhosa can change their name. I don't know if they can decide to change their name. I don't know if, let's say, um, any tribe
Amazulu
in South
or
Africa,
Abasutu, the
huh?
Sutu or Amazulu.
Abasutu, Abasutu, or Abazulu can just decide now we become this. No. So those are things, if they can come with any records, written records, showing that they were there before the Congo became Congo or before the Congo became Belgium, I would like you to ask them to come and dispute what I'm saying. But the first group that came as group came in 1896. And they came from the kingdom of Rwanda because there were conflict between them there. The king Rabugiri, who was dead, they wanted to find a place to get refuge. They came to Congo. And another thing, you may not find the term Mulenge in the book of Ways. They usually use only the book of their child, Marie-François de Pelchin. It's written there, but it's not anywhere else.
What's the name of this book by Marie-François de Pelchin? What's the name of this book by Marie-François?
The book of Marie-François de Pelchin, the title is Pre-Capitalism. It starts with pre-capitalism.
I think
I can
the
send
reason
you.
why I'm asking about it, I think the other gentleman that spoke on this DRC conflict also made reference to that book, Batatani.
Yes.
But now, Prof, when we end it, I want to say I'm getting the sense that you're also a DRC native, correct?
Yes.
So I'm getting the sense that, unfortunately, so far we have only gotten the narrative from DRC people. I know you have your academic background, but your roots and your being as a human being will probably have a very strong influence and will invoke certain biases in your assessment. Not taking away your academics and the research you've made, I understand. But now I think it's fair for us to present a non-aligned or a non-biased view. Would be for us on Something Nice with Dinano to bring someone who will either speak on the side of the Tutsis to give the Tutsi narrative on the conflict, or someone to speak on the side of the Rwandans, or maybe even the Ugandans, or maybe even the Burundis. Because now we've only heard the conflict from the side of the people of the Congo, which is fine. These are the people that are mainly affected by what is happening there. My issue with African conflict is always the issue of tribalism. And I think that's what continues to kill us. And I'm picking up that you say some of the issues that are being faced where there are ethnic issues. You've raised it, the Banyarwanda, um, Banyamulenge. I struggle with the names. But hopefully, when we come on the live, people on the other side of the story will be able to bring forth their arguments. I've got someone I know from Rwanda. I'm going to try to speak to them and see if they can get me someone who can comment on this thing. But until that time, let's get ready for the live stream, Prof. Get your facts together, get your research out, because people are going to want to call you to account for the information you have brought forth today. I want to thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate your
But
time.
I would like to mention.
Okay.
I would like to mention something. As a conflict resolver, I would like to take it in a positive way. It means if they are ready ready to have a constructive conflict resolution, it would be better to say the truth to people, to accept their responsibility for what is happening now in the Congo, because one of them accepted that they have been manipulated by Rwanda. So it would be a good thing if we can effectively have conversation together and say, now, from what happened in the past, what do we do? What do we do to get along, to stay together, but removing those issue of ethno-nationalism, suprematism, because those two issues of putting your ethnic group beyond your nation, instead of saying, okay, we come from 450 tribes in the Congo and we want to live together. Sorry for what happened, and we want to repair what we can repair and to keep living together. For those who abide by the laws of the Congo, not going to Rwanda when you create problem in Congo, and then come back with Rwanda supporting you, and so on and so on. So for me, I would like them to be ready to accept some responsibilities and to see how people can coexist and keep coexisting in the Congo, even if they are immigrants. You have many people from Greece who live in Congo, from Angola who live in Congo, and all the 9 borders of Congo. You have people who are from both sides of countries. They have no problem, only with people from Rwanda. So if they can do that, I think we can resolve the problem.
Let's end it there, Prof. I've been up for the past 16 hours. I need to catch my sleep, but we'll invite you back to talk further on this
Sorry.
issue. Thank you very much for your time,
Thank you very much.
and thank you for joining us.
No, it's me who thank you, brother, because I didn't know that you would make it, but you did it. Let's really, God bless you.
And thank you for joining us on Something Nice with Dinano. As a person who follows the show, the channel,
Dinano?
don't go, Prof.
Dinano.
Don't go. Thank you for joining us. Do the right thing. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Tell us what you think about Prof's arguments on the matter so that we can take the conversation forward. We are going to invite him again on a live stream where you, as a person who follows the channel, can engage Professor Kibiswa on this matter. But as I'm saying, with my journalism background, I want to be impartial on the matter. So I want to invite people from Rwanda or Burundi or Uganda who can bring
And from
forth their own
the Banyamulenge.
understanding of this conflict so that we can have a balanced view on the matter. Thank you for joining
Yes.
us. Goodbye.